Today, a massive development has dramatically shaken the global financial world. A quiet, intensifying storm is actively brewing, and the surrounding whispers are growing significantly louder. Certain people are now alleging that a secret mandate has been issued, one possessing the power to fundamentally alter everything for Iraq's currency, and for those who have monitored the dinar for numerous years. This supposed directive is being commonly referred to as the hidden green light. Available reports suggest that President Donald Trump has discreetly directed a major strategic move involving the Central Bank of Iraq. The alleged command is to revalue the Iraqi dinar to within 5% of the United States dollar's value. That is an astonishing claim, meaning that if this information proves accurate, Iraq's national currency could soon stand in direct parity with the US dollar. So what exactly is genuinely happening outside of the public eye? What is the specific financial meaning of the phrase within 5%? And what is the relevant context for a former president being linked to such an order in 2025? Remain connected until the very end, because the facts you are about to hear could completely reshape your understanding of the global economy and your own future financial outlook. Now let's thoroughly analyze and deconstruct this situation. Just imagine for a moment the Iraqi dinar, long considered highly undervalued and severely struggling, following years of warfare and international sanctions, suddenly achieving nearly equal value to the US dollar. That specific outcome would indeed be historic. Current chatter in specialized financial circles indicates that the Trump network has allegedly promoted this action using special US Treasury channels, granting Iraq the necessary approval to finalize its long-delayed national currency reform plan. The specific phrase within 5% of the US dollar is not a random selection of words. It is terminology derived directly from international monetary code standards. It specifically implies that Iraq's currency would be formally revalued and subsequently stabilized very close to parity with the dollar. We are considering a serious possibility of a major exchange rate falling somewhere between $4.75 and $5.25 per single dinar. That magnitude of shift is truly extraordinary when compared to the currency's current standing today. Furthermore, if this comprehensive plan proves to be genuine, we could very well be witnessing the commencement of an entirely new global financial chapter. This is a chapter where Iraq confidently steps back onto the world stage, demonstrably stronger than it has ever been before. Herein lies the truly fascinating dimension of this story. This change is not exclusively about exchange rate numbers on a simple currency chart. It deeply concerns strategic power, calculated timing, and global financial strategy. Trump has consistently maintained a focused interest in international trade balances, global oil prices, and the maintenance of monetary strength, largely stemming from his personal business background. Gaining control over currency valuations means acquiring significant leverage in critical global deal-making. Iraq, with its immense oil reserves exceeding 145 billion barrels and its substantial growing gold holdings, is currently sitting atop vast, untapped financial power. Revaluing the dinar would provide immense benefits not only to Iraq but could also potentially realign global energy markets and successfully diminish the influence of countries like China and Iran within the volatile Middle East region. For the United States, this could signify renewed regional influence. For Iraq, it promises liberation from financial dependency on other nations. And for the vast number of investors currently holding dinar, this event could represent the single largest private wealth shift in modern financial history. The intricate pieces are moving slowly and quietly, but the underlying momentum is real and undeniable, and every available sign strongly suggests that something genuinely substantial is being meticulously prepared behind closely guarded doors. But we must address that rather mysterious and technical phrase, within 5% of the US dollar. This is more than mere financial jargon. It is precise language taken directly from the operating playbook of the International Monetary Fund. When a nation is deemed ready to effectively stabilize its currency, the IMF typically authorizes it to operate within a very tightly managed band, usually set at approximately 5% above or below a predetermined fixed rate. This controlled fluctuation helps immensely in maintaining overall stability, while still allowing for necessary minor market adjustments. Therefore, if the Central Bank of Iraq were to peg its currency rate near $1, it would be permitted to move slightly higher or lower, instantly granting international traders confidence that the Iraqi currency will not suddenly collapse overnight. And critically, according to numerous insider reports, The specific trading range currently being discussed, from 475 to 525, fits seamlessly and perfectly into that established IMF model. It is almost as if Iraq is being quietly maneuvered into a final, ready-to-launch position, simply awaiting the official final trigger to be pulled. Some sources have even suggested that this trigger may have already been activated behind the scenes and away from public knowledge. Now, the context of recent events makes things truly intriguing. Over the last 2 years, Iraq has been diligently and quietly focused on cleaning up its financial house. The central bank has enforced a crackdown on widespread corruption, aggressively removed fraudulent currency dealers from the market, and completely restructured its core financial systems. They have successfully integrated with international banking platforms, joined advanced digital settlement programs supported by financial giants like JP Morgan and Citibank, and rigorously adopted global compliance and anti-money laundering standards. In summary, Iraq's current financial system is now technologically modern, globally interconnected, and functionally transparent. This is the exact prerequisite stability required before any major successful currency revaluation can occur. We must also factor in the newly adopted anti-money laundering measures, significantly improved trade reporting systems, and notably stricter digital transaction monitoring protocols. Every single one of these actions points definitively toward diligent preparation, not simple chance or coincidence. It strongly appears as though Iraq has been meticulously following a hidden strategic checklist, and the very last outstanding item on that checklist may potentially be Trump's quiet instruction to revalue the dinar to within 5% of the dollar. Consider this highly important fact. Multiple high-level U.S. Treasury officials have visited Baghdad over the past year, conducting meetings with both Iraq's prime minister and the central bank governor. While the official public narrative was described as simple financial cooperation, insiders are firmly convinced that those private meetings were far more substantial and significant. They were reportedly dedicated to setting the ultimate stage for this precise currency reform event. And immediately following these high-level visits, an unusual event occurred. Internal banking systems across the United States, including those operated by Chase, Wells Fargo, and HSBC, reportedly began displaying new, unofficial dinar rates on their internal trading platforms. These specific numbers were observed to be consistently hovering in the target range between $4.75 and $5.25 per dinar. Now, to be perfectly clear, these test rates were absolutely not public, but reliable insiders confirmed they were visibly accessible to specific banking departments. Could this simply be a coincidence? Perhaps, but the coordination and timing appear far too perfect to ignore. It strongly resembles the global financial engines actively warming up just prior to a major event takeoff. So the ultimate question remains, why would this specific move happen now in 2025? The concept of timing is paramount in finance. The entire world is currently experiencing a monumental shift toward entirely new financial systems, characterized by central bank digital currencies, gold-backed trade frameworks, and value exchanges based on tangible assets. The existing financial system is facing severe challenges, and nations are swiftly and strategically repositioning themselves. Iraq, having long depended on the dollar, is now demonstrating its readiness to operate independently. The International Monetary Fund has formally approved their necessary financial infrastructure upgrades. The U.S. Treasury has officially endorsed tighter, more responsible dollar control within Iraq's financial structure. Furthermore, Middle Eastern oil traders are actively preparing for an inevitable global scenario where energy commodities may no longer be priced solely and exclusively in U.S. dollars. For Iraq to successfully maintain its relevance and power, a substantial revaluation is essential, and this 5% parity move could undeniably serve as its golden ticket entry into the next definitive era of global finance. The various strategic dots are connecting with each other faster and more clearly than ever before. We must not neglect the important human dimension to this ongoing story. Millions of ordinary people around the globe still hold the Iraqi dinar, patiently anticipating the pivotal day when its value finally rises. For some, this represents a lifelong dream. For others, it is a firm belief in Iraq's potential for national recovery. Imagine the profound impact if a single dinar were to suddenly become valued at $5. Even a relatively small currency holding, perhaps 100,000 dinar, which currently costs less than $100, could instantly be worth $500,000. That is unquestionably life-altering money for countless families. However, Hand in hand with that immense hope comes serious financial responsibility. If this unprecedented event does occur, the resulting challenge won't merely be about becoming wealthy overnight. It will fundamentally be about making exceptionally smart, informed financial decisions, ensuring proper and timely tax compliance, and investing the new wealth wisely and strategically. Financial history clearly shows that suddenly acquired wealth can dissipate just as rapidly if individuals are unprepared for its management. Therefore, if this historic revaluation unfolds, the singularly smart strategy is to plan comprehensively ahead of time, not react in sudden panic. Naturally, a degree of professional skepticism is necessary and remains. We have all certainly witnessed and experienced a number of past RV date rumors, instances when people confidently predicted the revaluation only to have nothing happen. Yet this specific time period feels substantively different. The foundational groundwork is undeniably real. The key governmental officials actively involved are authentic and high-ranking, and the current timing aligns perfectly with broader global financial reform trends. Even if the observed banking activity is merely an ongoing system test, major banks simply do not conduct such extensive tests unless the actual event is very close to its live activation. Consider this simple logic. Why would major U.S. financial institutions load complex foreign exchange rates into their secure internal systems if there was no genuine, imminent operational need for them? This is no longer the casual speculation and chatter of online internet forums. This represents demonstrable movement happening deep inside real-world, highly secured financial systems. Now, deliberately zooming out from the local perspective, let's discuss the potential global ripple effects. If Iraq's dinar is officially revalued to near the US dollar's value, it holds the potential to trigger a significant domino effect across the continent of Asia. Other national currencies currently considered undervalued, such as the Vietnamese dong or the Indonesian rupiah, might soon be compelled to follow suit with their own revaluations. Economists often refer to this potential event as the global currency reset, a large-scale, potential realignment where various nations intentionally reset their currency values to genuinely reflect their true underlying asset worth. Iraq could very well be the very first domino to fall, setting off a complex chain reaction across numerous developing markets. And if Trump's reported secret directive was genuinely the spark that initiated this entire process, he may have just dramatically reshaped the global economic landscape once again, even without currently holding public office. Here is an important factor that many casual observers overlook. Trump's long-held fundamental philosophy is centered on fair trade and ensuring fair currency practices. He has always deeply believed that America should lead and guide global financial systems, rather than constantly chasing them. His administration frequently and openly criticized nations that were widely perceived to be manipulating their national currencies to gain unfair trade advantages. Therefore, observing Iraq successfully rise through an equitable and fair valuation system would actually align quite strongly with that deeply held financial mindset. By actively assisting Iraq in achieving stability and sustained growth, the United States simultaneously and indirectly strengthens its own strategic economic position, particularly regarding global oil and energy trade. In essence, this current strategic move is not just solely about Iraq's currency. It is fundamentally about restoring a much-needed global balance through demonstrated economic strength, rather than relying solely on enforced financial control. Now, what is the official position of Iraq on all of this? That component provides the strongest confirmation that the shift is genuinely real and inevitable. Iraq's prime minister and the heads of the central bank have publicly appeared on television, repeatedly stating that the country's comprehensive financial reform plan is currently in its final concluding stages. They have openly declared that their primary objective is to accurately reflect the true value of Iraq's resources. That is a direct, undeniable quote from official sources. That statement is not a rumor. It is clear. Official government communication. The country has meticulously built the required systems, successfully curtailed deep-rooted corruption, and fully aligned itself with modern global banking standards. The only perceived missing component has been a final green light signal, and if this alleged secret directive is indeed real, that critical green light may have already silently switched on. This entire context is precisely why many sophisticated analysts are now actively calling 2025 the crucial year of the financial reset. Globally, Nations are increasingly moving to back their respective currencies with tangible, hard assets again, such as gold, oil, and various natural resources. Central banks everywhere are rapidly digitizing their currencies and financial transactions. International trade is becoming increasingly regionalized and diversified. And Iraq, with its immense wealth of natural assets, is positioned perfectly to rejoin and lead this new evolving global financial order. A dinar that is pegged to within 5% of the dollar would send an extraordinarily strong and unambiguous signal to the world. Iraq is genuinely open for international business once again, is politically stable, and is fully ready for modern global trade. That comprehensive preparation is the powerful reason why so many financial insiders believe the situation is far from a mere rumor. It is the final preparation for a coordinated, meticulously planned official reveal. So what specific steps should ordinary individuals be taking right now? The primary advice is to remain extremely alert and vigilant. Under no circumstances should you rush headlong into any suspicious scams or unverified private exchange offers. Only official, well-recognized banks and licensed financial institutions possess the necessary authority and capacity to handle a financial event of this enormous magnitude. Keep your physical dinar securely protected. Ensure you know the precise location of all your original purchase receipts, and maintain your information updates solely through the most reliable, verified sources. When fundamental and large-scale shifts like this inevitably occur, accurate and timely information instantly becomes the single most valuable asset of all. Those who successfully maintain their composure and remain completely prepared will undoubtedly benefit the most when the initial dust finally settles and the rates go public. At the end of the day, regardless of whether this dramatic revaluation occurs this particular month, during the next quarter, or later in the year 2025, one fact is absolutely certain. Something truly massive is powerfully unfolding right now. Iraq's long financial evolution is no longer just a theoretical concept. It is visible, measurable progress in action. And if Trump's alleged hidden directive was the definitive final push, financial history might soon officially record this period as the decisive start of a brand new era in global currency power. The world's financial structure is changing silently but with great speed. The only remaining question for all of us is, are you truly ready for the outcome?